Whilst things might feel impossible at the moment, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Court battles are testing the balance of power at the heart of American democracy. Trump and his supporters have attacked judges as biased, and his administration has been accused of failing to fully comply with court orders. His court losses, though, come from a mix of appointees of Democratic and Republican presidents, including some nominated by Trump during his first term. Donald Trump has lost the overwhelming majority of legal challenges to its agency actions, succeeding in only 7% of cases related to federal rulemaking or deregulatory efforts. Out of 85 lawsuits examined, the administration has prevailed in just 6. Most prior administrations maintained a roughly 70% win rate in comparable cases. These legal losses, often for violations of the Administrative Procedure Act, underscore the regime's pattern of hasty, legally flawed policymaking. In many instances, courts have determined that Trump-era agencies failed to follow proper procedure or justify major regulatory rollbacks. Cities, advocacy groups, and municipalities have been key players in successfully litigating these cases, forcing the administration to walk back decisions that courts found unlawful. Meanwhile, Trump's aggressive immigration enforcement strategy is fueling tension across the country. Federal raids have intensified at farms and workplaces in recent weeks, fulfilling the disgraced president's campaign promise of mass deportations. The operations have ignited fear in immigrant communities, leading to demonstrations in cities like Los Angeles. Although Trump briefly halted enforcement in certain sectors, including agriculture and hospitality, he reversed that pause days later, illustrating the administration's inconsistency and the political pressure that it faces. This harsh approach is not going unnoticed. Some Republican lawmakers have raised concerns, and polls indicate that voters are growing increasingly uncomfortable with these tactics. In the legislative arena, Trump's much-promoted One Big Beautiful Bill is encountering substantial resistance despite efforts to rally support. The bill, which expands the tax cuts from 2017 with reductions to Medicaid and other safety net programs, has been widely criticized by voters across the political spectrum. According to a recent Fox News poll, only 38% of registered voters support the bill based on their current understanding of it, while 59% are opposed. The opposition crosses demographic and ideological lines. The legislation is rejected by 73% of independents, and more than half of working-class white men without college degrees, once considered a core part of Trump's base. A separate poll paints an even starker picture. Only 27% of respondents said they support the bill, while a majority, 53%, oppose it outright. The bill's combination of tax cuts for high earners and deep cuts to government services appears to be out of step with what most Americans want. On the international stage, Trump's second term has struggled to generate the kind of breakthroughs he once promised. Initial negotiations with Iran aimed at exchanging sanctions relief for restrictions on Tehran's nuclear ambitions showed promise. Such an agreement could have stabilized the Middle East, lowered the risk of a nuclear arms race, and reduced U.S. military involvement in the region, long a bipartisan goal. Improved relations with Iran could also have complicated its growing alliances with Russia and China. But those talks were derailed, reportedly due to opposition from the Israeli government, which has argued, without evidence, that Iran was on the verge of acquiring a nuclear weapon and that immediate military action was necessary. The military action, whilst going ahead, was not entirely successful at achieving its goal. Trump's vision of a diplomatic reset has instead yielded rising tensions with few signs of progress. Did you know that your personal data is actively being sold online by data brokers right now? Anyone with a credit card, even scammers, can buy your home address, phone number, and even the names of your family members. It's not just creepy, it's dangerous. If you've ever spoken out politically or have a public-facing job, your data can make you a target for harassment or worse. Identity theft, phishing scams, even stalking, it all starts with your information being too easy to find. That's why I use Delete Me. They're the best in the business at getting your personal info removed from data broker websites and keeping it off. Delete Me is the sponsor of today's video, and I'm proud to partner with them. On my dashboard right now, I can see they've removed my info from 47 data broker sites, including over 300 pieces of personal data, stuff I didn't even know was out there. Your personal safety and privacy are worth protecting. Head to joindeleteme.com/5minutenews and use promo code 5minutenews for 20% off. You can even protect your entire family with a family plan, because when they buy your data, they can see your relatives too. That's joindeleteme.com/5minutenews, promo code 5minutenews. This week, Benjamin Netanyahu returned to Israel without a deal for peace in Gaza, as promised by Donald Trump. Back on the domestic front, critics argue that Trump's economic policies are actively harming American households. He's wrecking the economy by design, said Senator Brian Schatz. Starting tomorrow, everything gets more expensive. Food, cars, electronics, housing. This affects how people can pay for college or retire with security. We're talking about trillions in destroyed wealth. Trade disputes and tariff threats have failed to move adversaries like China, and traditional allies, including India, have expressed skepticism or frustration. Russia, meanwhile, remains aloof. Iran has grown more defiant, and global markets are jittery, even once loyal backers like Elon Musk have stepped away from the administration, further weakening its credibility. A federal appeals court in New York on Thursday officially affirmed the jury verdict that found Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming the writer E. Jean Carroll, starting the clock for Trump to ask his friends at the Supreme Court to overturn the decision and its order that he pay her $5 million. Trump continues to lose. And his return to the presidency, once heralded by supporters as a comeback for the ages, has instead been plagued by complications. While his first term was marked by controversy but also a certain political durability, this second term seems increasingly reactionary and unsteady. Major policies are being blocked in court, foreign adversaries are undeterred, and internal divisions within the GOP. Despite returning to office on promises to remake Washington and usher in a new era of American power, Trump is discovering that bold rhetoric and executive orders cannot replace strategy and legal grounding. The regime's core challenges, courtroom defeats, a faltering legislative agenda, falling out with our allies, diplomatic setbacks, public opposition, suggest that Trump 2.0 is struggling to deliver on its own vision. The shouting hasn't stopped, but fewer people are listening, and even fewer are following his lead. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast on Wednesdays, co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.